Welcome to week 29 of my self-important Magic the Gathering show. I am still recording these early because that's what I feel like doing right now. This week is minus red, aka growth. I guess that's because red is the destructive color. And since I haven't failed to record this episode yet, we don't have our lands or, we don't have our vegetables set up yet. So let's peek into the future really quick. Notice how there are two sets of partner commanders here. And I found out where Reyhan went. Because him and her, actually, I think that's a her. And Ishai were the other deck. But the reason why I did that is because this is the only commander that is one person in minus red. And if I have time, I guess I'll do Atraxas Praetor's Voice, one of the most popular commanders in all of Commanderdom. I don't particularly have a strong want to do the Grand Unifier. But those who know Magic the Gathering might be aware that Tymna the Weaver and Thrasios Triton Hero are a CDEH combination. The C for competitive. We're not making a CDEH deck. I'm just letting you know that right away. So let's meet all four of our heroes. So this is set up to where you can have Tymna and Thrasios, Tymna and Kydele, I think, and Ravos. Any combination of any of these two, as long as you get to the minus red color combination. I picked these two because one, like if you put Thrasios up front, people will think you're CDH, and maybe with Kydele out, people will understand that maybe you're not. We'll say Kydele first. Kydele, chosen of Kruphix, 2 green-blue for a 2/3 human wizard. Tap, add colorless mana for each card you've drawn this turn. Tymna the Weaver is 1 white and black for a 2/2 human cleric with lifelink. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, you may pay X life, where X is the number of opponents that were dealt combat damage this turn. If you do, draw X cards. So basically, the thing of this combination is that you get is that Kydele is hopefully a mana dork during your post-combat main phase. That is the whole point. And then Tymna has lifelink that you then, just in case that's the only thing you have to attack with. And what's neat is that it's 2 blind ladies, because they're both actually, she might not be blind. She might just be covering her eyes for reasons, because she's probably a seer. Kruphix? Who's Kruphix? Is that Destiny? We can just look up Kruphix. Kruphix. God of Horizons. I don't know what that means. It's going to type in the word Destiny. Calyx, Destiny's Hand. Destiny Spinner. There's lore here that I don't fully remember. So anyway, Thrasios, Triton Hero, is simply Simic for a 1/3 Merfolk Wizard, where you can pay 4 generic mana to scry 1. Then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, You put it on the battlefield tapped, otherwise you draw the card. That is some generic Simic stuff, all on the same thing. Maybe draw a card, or maybe get extra lands into play. 4 is expensive for that, but it's not a tap ability, and also you get to scry. So, and then we have Ravos here, the Soul Tender, who's 3 white black for a 2/2 human cleric. That's also what's interesting, is that no matter which set you go with, it'll always be a cleric and a wizard. Ravos is a 2/2 with flying. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That is all neat stuff. Could be the commander, but I like having the cheaper ones. Like, if I wanted to, I could put Ravos over here instead. But Tymna and Kydele over here have synergy. And then, of course, we have the Nephilim for this group. It's minus red for a 1/1. It's awful. But whenever you cast a spell, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on this Nephilim. And then whenever this Nephilim attacks, it gains trample end of turn if its power is 10 or greater. So, like, it's an investment. It's not very good, but I do like it more than the one from last week that turned single target removal into board wipes. I think that one's funny, but I don't like it. So let's get to our vegetables. T, land, open parentheses, T, plains, or T is land, or T, swamp, or T, forest. And capitalize that R just in case that's necessary. Oh, turn that T into an R because I'm bad at typing. Arctic tree line, breeding pool, canopy vista, contaminated aquifer, glacial floodplain. I've decided to say the names of them out loud. Fetid pools, godless shrine, hollowed fountain, haunted mire, hedge maze, ice tunnel, irrigated farmland, Indatha triome, idyllic beachfront, lush portico, meticulous archive, prairie stream, overgrown tomb, murmuring bosk is going to probably throw things off. We'll see. Radiant Grove, Rafine's Tower, Rhymewood Falls, Scattered Groves, Shadowy Backstreet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Snowfield Sinkhole, Spira's Headquarters, Sunken Hollow, Temple Garden, Tangled Islet. I mean, I say Island instead of Island, but I think that's Islet. Sunlit Marsh, Undercity Sewers, Underground Mortuary, Watery Grave, Woodland Chasm. Well, I think it's Chasm. Boy, that's one of those things where I start doing something for a meme and then start doing it unironically. And then Zagoth Triome. That actually does in fact give us 1 extra land. You know what? We're going to have 1 extra land because I don't want to take anything out. Yep, that's just how we're going to do it. We are going to copy card names. We're going to do things as we go this time. At least for the vegetables section. Close. Okay, so Fars, Farseek, Nat Lore, for Nature's Lore, Thurviz for 3 visits. No, we don't do Rampant Growth. We do Into the North. Then we do Soul Ring. And then we do all the Signets. And that puts us at 12. Yay! Now we do our removal suite, which we have white, black, and green, which I do think collectively is the best for removal. Like, not green by itself, but like the non-land permanent and permanent removal that you get when you have black and green together. So we are going to go back in here. T instant. Oh, I said I was going to do it as I go along, but I forgot. But let's just get this out of the way. Target permanent. I don't know if you hear that, but someone is bumping the heck out of some bass outside. Order CMC. So these early ones ain't really going to be what I'm looking for, except for Assassin's Trophy, of course. I like D-Spark, even if it has 4 or greater on it. Beast Within. And then we'll, at the end, we'll go back up and put non-land. Generous Gift. Scroll to top. Non-land. With all of the letters. Having a mildly slow internet day, I see. Abrupt Decay is... Terra Sunder. Anguished Unmaking. Mythos of Nethril. Stroke of Midnight. Atomize. Void Rend. Drag to the Roots. Mortality Spear, which we can probably play for cheap because we're probably going to have other forms of life gain just for Tymna. Utter End was the last one I was thinking of, but like while we're here, like when Objectively, Windgrace's Judgment is a good card, but I do feel ticking off 3 people at the same time might be a bad idea unless you know you can back it up. So what did that get us? That actually got us 13 pieces of removal, and if I were going to remove any, it would be D-Spark. But because it says permanent, like it may as well say non-land permanent because it says mana value 4 or greater. So we'll remove D-Spark. And then now we do Mass Disruption, which I think I know which ones I want. Which actually haven't made it into the decks that allowed blue in it, now that I think of it. Because we had better Mass Disruption? Oh no, it's because I was using the red Mass Disruption. Huh. Anyway, we're doing Settle. To settle the wreckage. Aetherize. Whoops. Aether Spouts. That's 3 of them. And then Pest Infestation. And Heliod's Intervention. It's funny how I said, actually, I guess if I did that, Windgrace's Judgment is technically mass removal. You know what, let's just, I can't think of it, or I don't feel like thinking of another one. Oh good, it deciphered my typo. So there we go, now we have more than enough land, all of our ramp, all of our removal. We're at 74 cards. Now we need a plan. We're going to want to gain life, I feel. We're going to want all 26 of these cards to be more creatures, I think, just because of the Soul Tender, even though he's in the deck. But, you know, you could always switch, like I said, you can switch out commanders. We got a good amount of ramp for Thrasios. Although this is interesting that this is either 1, 2, or 3, I just realized. That's somewhat interesting. I also realized that this improves lifelink. This also makes the Nephilim one better, which means you can attack on 9 counters or 8 counters instead of 10 to get the bonus. You know me, I have to move the way I'm sitting and hopefully not disturb my lower back. But looking at these cards, I kind of coming up with a plan. Although this would be very funny because this is just going to show you all the CEDH stuff that people do. Birds of Paradise, Bloom Timber, Noble Hierarch, S% of die, hemp thing. Look at that. All of that. Psychosis Crawler, Queza, Augur of Agonies. That's his Oracle. You know, because of the CEDH stuff. Favorable Elder isn't bad since it can give us up to 4 mana. Out of all of this, the Psychosis Crawler and Quasar are the only ones that I'm tempted to put in, since we kind of want to... Okay, damage is loss of life, but loss of life is not damage. That is one of those things... And that specifically says combat damage. I'm glad it does. Still, I think since we plan on drawing extra cards, that's not the worst thing we could be doing. There are other things. So we're going to go T creature, because we're kind of meeting in the middle of all of our combinations, and we already have plenty of ramp, technically. O, draw, O, life. There's a card I don't remember the name of that I want in this deck, because it's like Tymna, but different. But I think it's mono white. Okay, we don't want to make people discard. This sacrifices clues. Arbiter of Woe. Whenever an opponent searches their library, that's still funny. That's black creature stuff specifically. Oh, when Audacious Thief attacks, you draw a card and lose a life? Sure. Oh, I should probably put in my, darn. I'm going to put in my, we're probably going to have less creatures now that I think about it, because I just thought that, okay, we're not very far in this. Control X. We want T, E, Equip, O, Hex CP, or O, Indist. I don't think there's a whole lot of other words that have that at the beginning. Or O, blocked. We're going to search for everything all at once. Can't be blocked. Hexproof, that's still fine. That it costs 3. Darksteel Plate. The hammer. Prowler's Helm, Mithril Coat. Mirror Shield. I do like Shadow Spear. Swiftfoot Boots. Oh, that's right. Lightning Greaves' Shroud. There we go. Let's put that all... Put that over here, put that over here. Oh, and then we're going to have one more piece in there because I am going to get the Greaves. There. because we want to protect all of our pieces. Control V. And then we're going to see how many cards we can have left. We can put in 12 more cards, and they're all going to be creatures. So we'll have 18, 19, 20 total creatures. Not great, but I don't know what I would remove if I don't, like, I could remove some of these protection pieces, obviously. The Shadow Spear is kind of one of its own. So let's just do that. Let's just get rid of that. That is expensive. Baby lasagna. Whenever Battle Angels... Oh, yeah, this has Myriad, too. Okay, actually, this is good because we get to draw cards if they have more cards than hands than us. We get to gain life as well. Theoretically, we have one of these... We have these three things that could happen, making Battle Angels of tier good in this deck. In our non-CEDH Tymna, or Cleric, optional Cleric, or our Orzhov Cleric plus Simic Wizard deck, if we're just going by who's in the command zone. Let's see. I do like Clackbridge Troll. Which means there's like other things that are definitely going in here. Oh, well, Cleopatra is interesting. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each to 2 other target legendary creatures, which we kind of are going to have a lot of. And then whenever a legendary creature with counters on it dies... that doesn't even say we control. None of this says we control. I draw a card for each counter on it and you lose 2 life. Geez, I just like that. Let's see. Alinda and Azor. Oh, I just like Elder Gargaroth. This is mostly just neuron activation include. I mean, it's a solid creature. 6/6 for 5 that also has Vigilance, Reach, and Trample. That you can get a creature, a life, or a card. That's non-creature spells. That's small creatures. That's bad greed. Huh. I forgot how neat Frodo was. We can draw a card and lose a life when this thing does damage to a player. Also has First Strike and Death's Touch. That's solid. It'll be on the chopping block, of course, if we go over. But, Whenever you draw a card, you gain a life, Lord. That reminds me that Tatiova Mythic Druid is probably going in this deck. Although more life gain is good. Again, this will also kind of like chopping block. Catromose. Oh, Mangar the Diplomat, of course. Oh, Mr. Foxglove. Oh, and Mr. Foxglove has lifelink. Just as a reminder, whenever Mr. Foxglove attacks, draw cards equal to the number of cards in the player's hand minus the number of cards in your hand. If you don't draw cards this way, you may put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. So we either get to draw some number of cards or we get to cast a spell for free. I think that's the perfectly acceptable state of affairs. Well, I remember when this was a super popular commander, but now I'm like, nah. Yeah, I'm not seeing the character I thought of. We're also not copying the cards from the Meletis Boys deck, so we're not putting that in. Here's the thing I was talking about. Shauna, the purifying blade. Did we make a deck for her? I don't think we did. But if we did, it was during Bant Week. Straight up Bant for a 3/3 Human Warrior, lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay X generic mana. If you do draw X cards, X can't be greater than the amount of life you gain this turn. And that's in step, so we have the whole rest of our turn to do that. Boy, Shieldred the Apocalypse should go in here, but actually, you know what? Removal bait, that's what that is. Because this obviously needs to go away. Huh, the Sphinx of Revelation. It costs 5, though. Oh yeah, Starscream. We're not doing anything with Starscream for this one. Not doing anything with Sithis. Tatiova, yeah. Because we might be getting extra land drops if we have Thrasios in play. Oh, Titus moves around counters. We're not doing a whole lot with counters, so maybe not. I faced a Titus deck in Arena earlier today, and I did concede to it because I was like, oh wait, no, it conceded to me because it got like a really back-breaking enchantment out, and I used removal on it. Well, it was an enchantment creature, and I used like one of White's 3 mana enchantments that removes permanents or non-land permanents or whatever. And they conceded after I got rid of it, like they had no other plan. Hero is just a OP card. Varna the Lich Queen? Oh, that zombie stuff. Okay, I like Wily Duke and Keen Hero. Vigilance, and whenever they become tapped, you get left to draw a card. You know, if you ever figure out how to do that, which, considering the set it's from, that's when you saddle a mount, crew a vehicle, convoke a spell, which I don't think was in the set, but that's all very funny. Wardens of the Cycle. Oh, but a creature has to die. Yawgmoth. Oh, Y'shtola, Knight's Blessed. At the beginning of each end step, if a player lost more for more life this turn. Okay, we're not leaning into that though. The non-creature spell part. So close. What is that? Oh, we actually have room for 2 more things. How many creatures are we up to? Because I don't... 17, 18, 19? So we'll be at 21. So we're going to get 2 more creatures still. I still want them card draw related. We found the one that I was thinking about. And hey, we have 10 pieces of card draw out of the... Oh no, technically we have 12. I mean, Ravnos as a recursion piece, that's kind of card advantage. So we're actually at 13 if you think about it. Let's pretend EDH Rec is going to recommend a creature that isn't... I see Consecrated Sphinx, and I'm like, no. Game Changer, and also drawing cards during our opponent's turn. Doesn't really matter. I mean, you could add two colorless mana on not your turn with that. Let's see if there's any artifact creatures. Nope, it's just these 2. I mean, Baleful Strix is kind of a neat card. That whole Flying Death Touch makes it a decent blocker as long as they don't have Flying Trample. Moving the way I'm sitting again, because I'm never happy. Stepped on a napkin. I don't know how it got on the floor. Threw me off for a hot second. Scroll back to top. I'm going to put in the word pay instead of life here, since I found the other thing. And I forgot to put CMC, but I guess I didn't put that in it anyway. This is also kind of how we find interesting cards, and there's only 61 here. Alarundo the Seer. Draw a card, then exile a card from your hand, and put a number of time counters on it equal to its mana value. That's interesting. Oh, but they don't gain suspend, so you kind of have to... So they'll stay in exile if this guy goes away. Return a permanent. Oh, that actually reminds me of things that aren't drawing cards related that I might want in this deck. One is another piece of ramp that I'm just a fan of. But I'm gonna keep looking through this. I mean, a lot of it is stuff that we've already seen. Yannette is interesting because it's either an extra card or a free spell depending on its mana value. If it's odd, it's free. If it's even, we just draw it. But it's like a reveal to draw. That's mildly interesting. But I want the Overlord of land with all basic land types. Is it Hauntwoods? Well, it put itself in ramp, so I assume I got the right one. Yeah. Yeah, every basic land type. That's... It also costs 3 or 5. That's why I wouldn't count it with the ramp. Normally. Like, it's advanced ramp. It's also kind of removal bait, sort of. We definitely probably want more life gain, though. Since we only have like 3 different things, and they don't gain us that much life. Like, I don't think any of these pieces of equipment give life gain. I don't think any of these things have life gain. Nope, this gains us a life, but also draws a card. So that's 4. Oh, this can gain us life, so that's 5. 6. I actually thought of the other thing I wanted in here that I forgot about. 7, because he has lifelink. Another one if someone else has more life than us. And then this also has lifelink. Because we basically want to be life neutral on Tymna's ability. That's the whole point. But the other card I wanted to put in here is the Shakedown Heavy. I think he's funny. It's 2 and a black for a 6/4 Ogre Warrior with Menace. Whenever Shakedown Heavy attacks, defending player may have you draw a card. If they do, untap Shakedown Heavy and remove it from combat. There's probably other stuff like that that didn't make it into this deck, and of course, I did forget to do this, so now I will do it. So we have that, and then wherever our removal, oh, there's our removal. don't exactly need the quantity. Control V. Save changes. That puts us at 73 already. Because we don't have alternate commanders. Anyway, so we got to go back over here. We're at 100. Let's change its name. I'm just going to call it Theros Draw, because they are Theros commanders. This is not a CEDH deck and is not trying to be. Because all four of these characters are from Theros, and no matter what configuration of characters you have, you care about drawing cards, even though Kydele and Ravos is the least card drawing combination of it, since Thrasios can draw you cards, Tymna wants to draw you cards, Kydele cares about drawing cards, Ravos does not draw cards. Still, I like what we did. So now we're over to Tarkir Alliance, because both of the commanders are from Tarkir. I think let's change the printing. Boy, that's back before they tied the commander product to a specific set, and that's mildly annoying. Oh yeah, that's right. Our Abzan friend didn't make it into the Final Fantasy set, but Ishai did. We're going to use... In fact, Ishai got 2 more printings than our Abzan friend. So now that I've fixed that, let's meet him. Reyhan, last of the Abzan, is 1 green black for a 0/0. Reyhan, last of the Abzan, enters the battlefield with 3+1/+1 counters on it. So it's 3 mana for a 3/3. Whenever a creature you control dies or is put into the command zone, but not exiled otherwise, if it had 1 or more +1/+1 counters on it, you may put that many +1/+1 counters on target creature. Okay, neatalio. Ishai, Ojutai, Dragonspeaker is 4 white blue for a 1/1 bird monk. Did I say this was a human warrior? Well, now you know. This has flying, and whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Ishai, Ojutai, Dragonspeaker. And oh, of course, they both have partner. I didn't say that over here either. And I just realized I also want enough of the things from the protection suite that I'm going to import. And just not the Whisper Silk Cloak, not the Prowler's Helm, and not the Brotherhood Regalia. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't need the hammer. We're not going to do that. You know what? Maybe I want my commanders to die. Was it anyway? Because I did not make any meaningful changes. We're going to keep the Overlord of the Hauntwoods as well, because why not? It's a good card. Especially if we can hardcast it, not have to worry about impending. And hey, look, the Witchmont Nephilim matters a lot more in this one. Because maybe we can move around counters. Oh, this is... I'm actually going to have a lot of fun with this. I already know some of the things that are going here, and they're like, the oh duh, they're going in this deck. But we're going... basically anything that makes more counters. Anything that cares about counters. We're doing that nonsense. We're going to search for them ourselves. So... Mine is... minus T instant, minus T sorcery, minus T land, because I don't need any of that stuff coming up. O +1 counter. And I don't care about CMC because we're probably going to put in a lot of them. There we go. No. No. Oh, the Abzan, yeah, these guys. I don't think we're going to have enough legendary creatures, but I really want to put Aerith Gainsborough in a deck at some point. Each creature you control has, with the +1/+1 counter, has first strike. There's a bunch of these things, and they might not all make it in, but I'll probably put them all in to start. Although I might miss all the green ones just because they're the green ones and they're easy to forget. Skipping past all the Ajanis. Cards leaving your graveyard that don't matter to us. Alharu. This and another one are probably going to get paired up when we're out of the 32. And that's Slurk all ingesting because they both care about +1/+1 counters to some degree or another. Oh yeah, Anafinza. Especially, it also has the other creatures, other players' creatures can go straight to heck. Ancient Bronze Dragon puts down some +1/+1 counters, but only on 2 creatures. We're going to skip over the Elspeths as well. Things you control without +1/+1 counters have Outlast. That's nice if we weren't doing that. Whenever you cast a white spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature you control. They gain vigilance until turn. Okay. Oh, excuse me, darn it. Whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on each legendary creature you control. They gain menace until end of turn. That's neat, but our deck has 2 other colors in it. of neat, but we're not going to do that. Lulu, Queen of Blood among bears. Huh. Bastien even Ishai. Boy, don't let me pronounce stuff. Whenever you cast a historic spell, which is artifacts, legendaries, and sagas, you draw a card, and this homeboy can't be blocked that turn. This only triggers once a turn. And then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it gets +1/+1 counter on it. I'll skip past Basari. Oh, Benevolent Hydra. Because that puts one additional. And it can put its own counters on something else. That's important to know. At the beginning of your end step, put a number of +1/+1 counters on up to one other target creature control equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. Oh, that's neat. And then it has a thing about life loss. That's mildly interesting and something definitely I'd want to play with if I had the mental energy for it. A lot of things only care about themselves. It would make sense because they're black mana cards. But they are not what we're looking for. Oh, actually, Bloodspore Thyronax. It has Devour 1. This enters the battlefield. You may sacrifice any number of creatures. And this gets a +1/+1 counter for each of those. And then each other thing you control enters with additional counters equal to counters on this. I think I'd probably want to do it some other way. If we had more snow in the deck, Boreal Rider is good for that. Attacking creatures having Death Touch. And all these other things that it can theoretically do are all kind of good. But I still want more creatures in the deck. Branching Evolution. I'm saving my non-creature spots for very specific things. Oh, we can get +1/+1 counters on her without targeting her with spells. Theoretically. Bristly Bill, but we're not. You know what? Broker's Ascendancy is actually necessary in this deck, I feel. Oh, this doubles the counters. There's another one that does this, but less good. The less good thing is also going in here. Another thing that adds additional +1/+1 counters. We don't need this part because we'll just fail to find the mount or vehicle unless there's like a really good mount. Well, there's like one vehicle that'll probably make it into this deck. Cathar's Crusade is kind of expensive. And there's creature things that I'm going to be looking for that do that too, so that they'll be better. Also, we're at the very beginning of the alphabet still, which is good. Oh yeah, good old Cleopatra. Oh, and the fact that we don't care if our legendary creatures die. Yeah, good old Cleopatra. And that's why we don't want too many of those Abzan things that say that creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them do stuff. Because we want to... Because we also need stuff that actually puts +1/+1 counters on stuff. Conclave Mentor, of course. Like, bonus +1/+1 counters also, like, don't matter. Court of Garenbrig, sure. I mean, there's stuff that will that are easy to take out, but like you want to put stuff in before you can take stuff out. As stupid as that sentence just sounded. So for like the creatures in control with +1/+1 counters, I'm just gonna put the ones I consider the best, which I think are the white ones, because one gets flying, that's great. Lifelink, I like for reasons. First Strike is also good, and so like at most I'll put one that gives Trample, because Trample's obviously good, but we don't want to glut up the deck with that. Oh. Like, this is kind of finisher material. But I think we're going to skip over that. Oh, yeah, the Drena. Oh, actually, Drena's good, because she has First Strike. So all your non-First Strikers... Like, this is obviously a non-bow with the thing that gives everything First Strike. But it still gives them... like, even if everything has First Strike, you at least get those +1/+1 counters after the fact. Oh, whenever a creature dies, if it had power greater than Drizzt's... Okay, that's interesting, but we're not doing that. Whenever another creature dies, Alinda gets +1/+1 counters. And then when Alinda dies, you get a bunch of vampires. That's at least going in for now. +1/+1 counters for historic spells. More Elspeths that do stuff. Oh, her Zero is +1/+1 counters. Like, this is another great finisher. That's a vote thing, we're not bothering with that. I actually like Fame the Broker's thing, where you can sacrifice a creature to put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature. We're not worried about that. But we can remove counters from a creature to create a treasure. And then we can sacrifice artifacts to make flying inklings for whatever reason. But honestly, we can trading +1/+1 counters for treasure tokens is what I'm here for. What I also like about that is that that says counter and it doesn't say what kind. So that's another thing that can remove lore counters from a saga. That's just a thing to think about. Fell beast of Mordor. Whenever... Oh, that's sacrificing non-land permanents. Phineas just puts it on rabbits and token creatures, which is interesting but not helpful. Putting +1/+1 counters on each creature we control, or adding a bunch of mana, or scrying 2 and drawing a card. Oh, and it can happen up to 3 times, but it's whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control. I feel like that is... Oh, well, she's Mega Gala Greeter, isn't she? Huh. That's an interesting observation, in my opinion. General Leo. Poor doomed General Leo. At least he got a card. We are not clunching. I kind of hope by the time I get to this I have to par down, you know, make cuts. Whew, that is... Let me take a bite of food while this is going on. Come on, my dude. We will try. Oh, there we go. Good Fortune Unicorn. Whenever another creature you controls enters, it gets a +1/+1 counter. Oh, good old Grimgrin the Corpseborn. We're not playing that kind of deck, but Grimgrin is a big old fat jerk face. Hasma making all of our stuff cheaper. Hardened Scales. Hardened Scales might come out just because, even though it only costs 1, it's kind of the worst version of itself. I am reminded of just funny things that exist when I do this. Wow, classic card. It's an aura, so I instantly stopped being interested in it, but still. Just how much it stands out. Especially back then, they didn't do a whole lot of +1/+1 counters. They did weird counters. Oh, the iridescent horn beetle that puts insects into play for each +1/+1 counter you've put on creatures. Iron Scaled Hydra is a good blocker. Oh, untap each creature you control with the +1/+1 counter on during each other player's untap step. I feel like that incentivizes us attacking. I think we're going to skip Genova. But Genova is good because it puts +1/+1 counters equal to its power onto another target creature, and that becomes a mutant, and whenever a mutant you control dies during your turn, you draw cards equal to its power. So that's all kinds of interesting, but we kind of don't want... you know what? We'll put that in. We can always take it out later, because I'm iffy on it, but I have to admit it's not a bad card. Especially if we make bad attacks just to see if they'll block, just so we can get the card. Whenever this creature or another artifact you control enters, well, we're not doing a whole lot of artifacts, otherwise that is a very good card. That's only birds. That's a lot of text. That costs a lot, and I don't know how many humans we have. Oh, instantly proving me wrong by being an older card that did +1/+1 counters. Kellen joins up is interesting. Whenever a legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Oh, and then we can plot something cheap. I'll put that in, but again, it's kind of on the cusp of going away. Don't really care about stuff that puts +1/+1 counters on itself. We want stuff that puts +1/+1 counters on other things or increases the number of +1/+1 counters that you get. Although I guess the first things that we'd want to take out if we have too much stuff, is the stuff that only increases the number of +1/+1 counters by a small amount and then doesn't really do anything else. Because we made it's better to be doing something more often than to do it, than to rely on doing it less and boosting those less times, I think. Let's get past all the Lego lie. I do like Lion Sash and Scavenging Ooze for more graveyard hate. But that's not where we are. Luminarch Aspirin is kind of an easy call. But also is kind of on the short list of things to go away. Oh, Mikaeus. It's a little slow, but it does stuff. It comes in with so many +1/+1 counters, and then you can put more on it, or remove one from it to put it on each other creature you control. The Monoskellion, jeez. The Skellions are so funny. Oh, I do like Nadir Kraken, so when we draw a card, we can pay 1. This gets a +1/+1 counter, but we also get a tentacle. So I'm down for that. I know it's putting stuff on itself, but it's also creating creatures, which I like the idea of. Sorry, just inside my own head again. Obby Nix. Oh, Ochre Jelly's neat. But it's more neat when you're guaranteed those doublers, because when this thing dies, since it halvesies, when you have the doublers, increases it even more. It goes back to its full size. We're near the end, though. I don't know if I'd call this a home stretch yet. We want this Ozolith, because it can put counters on stuff, and increases the counters on stuff. I'm going slow enough so people can read along when I'm not saying words out loud. Oh, the possessed goat. This is fun, limited nonsense. There we go. It costs 1 for a 1/1. It's a goat. But on your third turn, you can discard a card and make this a 4/4 demon. Prowl. Okay, he only does it to himself. Okay, we're getting to where that one vehicle I wanted to put in the deck is. Oh, other creatures you control enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Yin, yang, yin, yang. There we go. Oh, this turns all of our +1/+1 encounter boys into mana dorks. This guy's probably going to go away, but, you know, we still want to... Oh, heck. Gives lifelink, but it costs 4. I like Rosa, but I think this is the first one I'm going to pass on when I put a bunch of stuff in the deck that was like, I'll take it out later. This is making me realize I have no idea what the card I'm waiting on is called. Seth Jacobo's hilarious if you get it early. Basically on your first turn, just like how Scythecat Cub is good on your second turn. I think the site might also just be mad at the number of cards I'm looking at the same time. Oh, Shalinda's interesting. I just like her for how interesting she is. She's Selesnya for a 2/2 human cleric with lifelink, and whenever another creature you control enters, you either put a +1/+1 counter on that creature if it's smaller than her, but if it's bigger than her, she gets the +1/+1 counter. And I'm tired of the way I'm sitting, so I'm going to change the way I'm sitting. Now we're in the home stretch. Is how I feel about being in S. Alt WinCon Simic Ascendancy. Let's be cheap. Sure, why not? I'm starting to think the thing that I'm looking for is in the T's. But if I don't see it, I'm just gonna... If I, like, passed it up already... then I can just type vehicle in the search line with all the other stuff. Oh, when this guy attacks, you put it equal to the difference. It also has War 2, which is nice. Oh, all the spikes. I want... How many spikes are there? And they are in 2 colors because there's the one black one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to assume that there's none after Spike Weaver in the... Nope, there's one more. There's 11. That's not enough to make a deck, but I do kind of want to put all of the spikes into a deck. I don't know what it would look like, but I do like them. Sorts of stuff and other stuff. The Earth Crystal, for the if one or more, you put double. And sure, green cards costing 1 less to cast. Did I successfully? There we go. Oh, the Darkness Crystal is interesting because it has that graveyard hate. Black spells cost 1 less to cast, and then also you can pay 6 to get a thing that was exiled with 2+1/+1 counters on it. I don't think I'm going to put that in this deck, but that is super interesting and good, I feel. The Great Henge... Well, it draws a card, too. Remember, proxy this thing. I was about to say I didn't see that thing again, but now I realized we were still in T's. There it is, Thunderous Velocipede. Each other vehicle and creature you control enters with an additional +1/+1 counter if its mana value is 4 or great or less. But if it has a higher mana value, it gets 3 instead. The rich get richer, tell you what. Although it also means that your high mana value dudes that have relatively low power Titus Blitzball Star. And I say Tidus because he's water themed. I don't care how many times they pronounce it Tidus. I'm just going to be contrarian on that one. We are going to grab the other Tidus, though, or at least look at him again, because he moves them around, and that might be important. It also reminds me that this doesn't find, this particular search doesn't find, boy, Tribute to the World Tree is good, except for this, you know, we're a 4-color deck, and I don't want to do 3 color pips of the same color. 2 color pips of the same color is fine. 3 color pips of the same color is asking a lot. But we're almost done with this particular search. Man, if I missed anything, it is because there's a lot. Victory's Envoy at least gets on, you know, the preliminary list. Oh, there's also the that other Vorinclex that'll probably go in. Purposely skipped all of the walking ballista type things that are 0/0s with X costs. You know, all of the hold on. Add 1 mana of any color. When you next cast a creature spell this turn, that creature enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield and had 1 more counters on it, you may put that. Oh, this unit has pointed out that it's really good. So, add 1 mana of any color. When you spend that, when you next cast a creature spell this turn, which means you don't even need to use that mana on it, that creature enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. That's always good. And then whenever another permanent you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, if it had 1 or more counters on it, you may put that many +1/+1 counters on target creature. So that's cool. And we are at the end. Now we are going to search for counters. And I imagine Architect will be very happy now that we're here. Unless I just need to, like, reboot the browser. Like, my computer's on yellow alert for rebooting in general, but I wait until it's at red. Because it don't control me. Oh wow, look how quickly that loaded up. going to get a bunch of unrelated stuff, but that's fine. There's probably going to be stuff that we're going to consider. Botanical Brawler is neat because it gets counters when other stuff gets counters. But we're not going there. Bristly Bill can double the number of +1/+1 counters on our stuff, but we're not putting them in the deck. Not unless I somehow haven't reached 100 cards yet. That'll be wild. I'm not checking until I'm done. Oh yes, the clockwork things are such terrible creatures. Oh, I missed the Corpse Jack Menace. Because it's another twice putter. Danny Pink draws us a card and has Mentor. Though that can quickly draw us more cards than we can handle, but you know, that as much as I don't like discarding, that's a good problem to have. We're not doing doubling season because we're not creating tokens. I don't like having that in a deck unless I'm legitimately doing both things. Oh, this is the exact kind of stuff where if I was doing bracket 1, I would put in Elvish Farmer and Thalids. That's some old Magic. They weren't even good back then, because you had to wait 3 turns to get a 1/1. And they didn't have Proliferate back then. And notice how I did not put any Proliferate in this deck either, because that I feel is completely unnecessary. There is another thing I'm gonna check because I just thought about it. And that's stuff. That moves counters, like Goldberry right here. Move a counter of each kind not on Goldberry River Daughter from another target permanent control onto Goldberry, and then you can also move one or more counters from Goldberry onto another target permanent you control if you do draw a card. So that's also card draw for tapping this in a blue. It's a little slow if she doesn't have them on her herself, but so when we go back to the top, it's gonna we're gonna add the word move to the search parameters. It's already starting to hate me. I probably do need to close down the browser and open it back up again at some point. Like Hopeful Initiate here. Remove 2+1/+1 counters from among creatures you control to destroy an artifact or enchantment. There are neat things that I am passing by because they're probably just like either expensive to put out whenever you would put one or more counters on a creature, planeswalker, or yourself. The first two are you have to control. You get additional one. So that's +1/+1 counters, loyalty counters, experience counters, or if you're poisoning yourself for some reason. I think she is going to get skipped. Mostly because she costs 3 and it's not double, and it also affects a bunch of counters that we don't care about. This reminds me that because I'm gonna do like a Street Fighter week or a Street Fighter month. When we get to Guile, I feel like the next set, Edge of Eternities, is gonna make my version of that deck a lot better. Probably it's not going to be the best version of that deck, but my version would be better. Because there's a bunch of stuff in there that care about charge counters, and Guile cares about charge counters. And if I can turn Guile into an artifact, I can give him more charge counters. Okay, halfway through the alphabet is when it started to chug. Actually, I really know what the first thing I'm going to take out is. It's going to be the Overlord. Because I'm one of those just absolute weirdos who keeps in, who takes out off-theme cards first. Feel free to pause and read the cards, by the way. I don't know if I've ever said that before. But sometimes I, like, pass by interesting cards and I don't point them out. Because it really doesn't... it's not relevant to the deck. Even though sometimes I point out cards that aren't relevant in the deck anyway, so I'm really inconsistent on that. This thing distributes its counters. That's at least something to think about. Also, it gets quest counters for creature spells. I mean, not quest. +1 +1 +1. My brain was still on a card I didn't read out loud. And the fact that we passed by a bunch of spells that had quest in the name. Way back up here. No, down here. All the quests. There we go. Hee-ho. We're almost done, Architect. You did error out on me that one time. There we go. Oh, what does Riku do? Oh, that's wild. Riku can still counters. And then whenever you put one or more counters on a creature until in turn it can't be blocked. Both of those are good. Especially, like, if we have Cleopatra out, we can put a counter on their thing and then steal it with Riku. That's funny. Oh, and there's also this thing, this thing where it says it says on a creature, not a creature you control. So if you put counters on your opponent's creatures during their turn, they are unblockable. And that's why it says blocked by creatures your opponents control, so we can still block them if they attack us. And then this steal is a sorcery, so we can't, like, that's the time we can't immediately do it. But that's all very interesting. Simic Ascendancy might come out. You know, let's trust our game plan and not use Simic Ascendancy. There we go. Whew. Quickly had to turn off my mic because of a sneeze. Wasn't my loudest sneeze, but actually I guess was that a sneeze or a cough? I just did it and I already forgot. I already forgot what I was doing. Oh, here's the spikes again. Oh, that thing's funny. It's the exact opposite kind of counter, but it's funny. It deals in -1/-1 counters, and things with -1/-1 counters on it can't block. trying not. Oh, no. I was trying not to yawn, and that yawn made my eyes watery. Hey, there's the Thalids. Maybe I could put all of the Thalids and all of the spikes in the same deck. Because that would be Abzan. Because Thalids exist in black, green, and white, and spikes exist in green and black. Well, we're still not Aether Sparking. Darkness Crystal is still mildly tempting. There we go. Ozolith, that was the thing I definitely knew I wanted in here. Because of course you want to save. Oh, and Titus. We're gonna reread Titus. This one. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may move a counter from target creature you control onto a second target creature you control. Oh, good. That's even better than I thought. Whenever one or more creatures you control the counters on them deal combat damage to a player, you may draw a card and proliferate once a turn. Okay, I'm going to need to look at this for rulings, because is that once a turn period or once a turn per player? So like first strike, second strike. Whoops, rulings. No rulings found. So it's either once period or once per player. Either way, I would call that good and totally worth having in the deck. And now, just for completion, in case like a card exists that I don't remember, we're going to go through the rest of the thing. Once again, the World Tree is a good card, but not in a 4-color deck. And I feel like I've said that in at least 2 of the other 3, or no, 2 of the 4-color deck ones. That's including this one. And I should probably explain, because when you're mana fixing, you want to have as many of your different color accesses as possible, and not going all in on one color. So something that costs 3 different colors might actually be easier to cast than something that costs 3 of the same. You know what? Vorinclex, because it doubles, and it's also a big monster. And honestly, this messes with Planeswalkers, which is good. And you kind of just don't play your Vorinclex if they're also playing +1/+1 counters, unless they play theirs first, and then that just makes everything even. Reston is interesting, but I don't want any more of the X things than I've already put in the deck, which I think was already 1. Okay, so that's that. We are nearing two hours, which I feel is good. Oh, I just realized I don't need that anymore. But we're going to go O and the word move. So it'll count move and remove. Because there are things that say remove counters to do stuff, and that's what I'm looking for. Which also is another reason why the ones that put extra counters on stuff, besides like the ones that do double, might come out of the deck. Let's draw then discard. That's charge counters specifically. This steals counters. Wait, at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, remove all flood counters from Bounty of Luxa. If no counters are removed this way, oh, you put a flood counter. Okay, so the Bounty of Luxa gives you this mana once every other turn, if I'm reading that right. That is a mess. Although I guess with Tidus out, that would be... Oh no, that's only creatures. Tidus only moves it from creatures, which is fine. Did Goodberry move it from permanence in general? I don't think we're going to find anything on... oh, District Mascot. Because that's better than that other one, but it only does artifacts instead of both artifacts and enchantments. Oh, this is another thing that can give its counters to other things. Whenever a player casts a spell, that's any player, including yourself, you get a +1/+1 counter on this. And then at the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of counters from this to something else. I am going to put that in for now. I don't know how long it's going to stay. Oh, it does say target permanent, so Goldberry could combo with that card that we didn't put in this deck. Oh, we did. You know what? Too bad that says artifacts you control, and this is all artifact, but you know, all artifact-y doing of stuff. Again, I'm probably missing a lot just because I'm not reading everything. Lily Brown is interesting because it gets counters and then removes them, so you can gain 15 life every whatever number of turns, however long it takes. But that feels like that's a long time. The mycologist grows saplings on itself. That's a wild ride. I think I should have put counter instead of counters. Come on, my dude. No, it absolutely failed. That's funny. I'm actually going to refine my search anyway for a counter. O of counter. Oh, I forgot the or, my dudes. Or. Okay, that's neat, but that's equipment. Boy, that just tells you old cards were bad. We're still getting Goldberry, so that's a good sign. We're still getting Fane, so that's a good sign, so that we're actually kind of in... Oh, see, look at that. Alaka, Traveling Merchant. Remove a counter from a non-land permanent you control. Draw a card. Power Conduit. Remove a counter from a permanent you control and either put a charge counter on an artifact or a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And that's any kind of counter, by the way. So it... Which means, like, if someone's giving you... excuse me, stun counters... Or, once again, if we had any sagas in this deck... Oh, Resourceful Defense is like a second Ozolith. Whenever a permanent you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on target permanent you control. Move any number of counters from target permanent you control onto another target permanent you control. Yeah, the bonus counters things are looking less good and less good. Okay, this populates... Xavier Sol is cool, but we're not... Oh, Xavier Sol could be part of... Definitely could go into... If we were doing a 4-color... Or it could... See, the thing is that I'd want white in this as well instead of blue. But, like, this could go into that Thalids, that silly Thalids deck. It's just that we have blue instead of white, which, like, only misses, I think, the Mycologist anyway. But yeah, that's that. But that was fast. And we are... Please. Okay, we have to... I'm glad we're over 100, because I don't know what I would have thought if we didn't get there. So we're going to grid. Well, we're going to put that under the correct heading, because that's what it cares about. Hardened Scales going out. You know, as much as I like all of them, I'm going to take out all of the these Outlast dudes that I put in. Like, the flying one is the best one and probably could stay in. Abzan Battle Priest. I'm just kind of double checking. That's 28 things that have to do with counters. Okay, Yuna goes up here. Overcoat, it's up there. You go up there. You go up there. Yeah, you're going to go in card draw. Lands. They put this guy under proliferate. We're moving him to counters. And we saw some other... I thought I saw some other one. Ram... Oh, the Overlord. And also Rishkar. Hazma gets to stay in for now. I'm just checking to see if anything... Nope, nothing made it into there. I'm gonna... It says sack outlet because you can sacrifice creatures through it. But we are going to move him all the way up to... We're going to move him to counters. Actually, we're going to put him in ramp, as it turns out, now that I think about it. Which means we're going in the wrong direction. Because while other people care about the sacrificing a creature, we're probably going to be creating treasure tokens the most. And then... Yes, this tutor, because that's +1. We don't care about that anymore. Making more creatures is neat. You know, let's just remove all 3 of these, because this goes in a different direction, and that's just easy cuts. And that reminded me of other easy cuts of stuff that I wasn't looking too clearly at, but what are we at? 12 more. Okay, so Conclave Mentor. This at least moves from itself onto others. And that does it twice. There is some... Did it never make it into this deck, or am I just dumb and not seeing it? Maybe this is the thing I'm thinking about. I could have swore there was another thing that adds as 1 extra, so... But we're at 11 over. Do we start moving the stuff that moves them? Yeah, let's do that. Like, it's a combo with the Ozolith. Not the Ozolith. I think it's a combo with... Well, that one's moved. This one says put. So that ends up getting doubled. Because that's put specifically. But I think Goodberry and Tidus. But Tidus has card draws. Because that says... Because I don't know if moving is putting. So we'll get rid of Riku as well, even though I really like Riku. She's one of my... She's probably the only characters I truly like from you know what? Now we're going to do the ones that double as much as I like them. What are we at? We're at 6. So this puts them on. This puts them on. This stores them. This can give 1. This combos with the Ozolith, but let's just do that. That's fine. Now we are going to do stacks because that just makes it easier. We're going to go by type. We are at 27 creatures, so I'm actually not hurting for creatures. Oh, that stores them. What is Caledonian up to? Let's take out Kellen. That puts us at 4. Okay. This also draws cards. That's one of the reasons why it's getting a pass. All but one. Oh yeah, all but one of my pieces of removal is at instant speed. That's always nice. Oh, actually, Vorinclex is a doubler. So now we're at 3. Do we have any other tap effects? Unit taps for mana. Oh, Corpse Jack. There we go. Oh, right. Feign. That's at least worth it. Oh, that. And this. And this. That's good enough for that other guy. Oh, and these two. Because those aren't... Okay, there's enough in there that I care. What are we at? 102? And now we're down to 25 creatures. Thunderous Velocipede. Oh yeah, no, that gives a lot of counters. This doesn't store counters, but it does preserve counters. And then it's our last move counters thing. I don't know why we'd want to do this now, since moving isn't pudding. You know what? I'm going to do this and the Broken Broker's Ascendancy just because I want to preserve creatures. Now that we're down to 25, 26 of a count of vehicle. Okay. And then we go up here. We unlist. We private. +1. +1. Counters go. B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exclamation point. There we go. Like, I'm as happy with this as I'm going to be. Like, there's things I wish I could have kept in the deck. And honestly, if I built this in a different way, I probably would have. It's funny, this is not, like, there's no Tree Folk in the deck. So this is a tap land, but it's a tap land that taps for 3 mana, even though 2 of those mana deals damage to you. Anyway, next week is minus green, so it's literally going to be the most different deck we've done for these 5 weeks, because you won't see these 5 sorceries in it. See you then.